the Lakers just made a sneaky good signing on a player the Lakers have had their eyes on for quite some time because he is extremely underrated and undervalued and has a chance to make an impact on this team because of his unique skill set and his overall competitiveness. And it looks like the Lakers have found another gem. What's good? I'm Okechi Apakama, and this is Lakers Digest coming to another video. And before we get into everything we have for today's video, I just remind you guys to subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, because if you haven't noticed, this Lakers season has begun and it is exciting as ever. So if you guys don't want to miss any of that Laker action, make sure you guys are subscribed to Lakers Digest. Now, with that out of the way, let's hop straight into the topics we have for you today, as the Lakers signed Drew Timme. So, you longtime college basketball fans know Drew Timme, longtime Gonzaga player, huge player in college basketball, and now is in the NBA, is now signed with the Los Angeles Lakers officially, as he was already on the South Bay Laker team to start the season, but after a week's worth of games, he is being called up to the big club via two-way contract. So this is from Brett Siegel of Clutch Sports, saying the Lakers are in process of finalizing a two-way contract on Drew Timme. Sources told Clutch Sports, and then the Lakers will have to be cutting one of their players, either Nick Smith Jr., Christian Coloco, or Chris Mignon, in order to sign Timme, because you can only have 3 two-way contracts on your roster. So one of those guys are probably going to be cut probably by the end of the day, and I think it's probably going to be Christian Coloco because they play the same position, and because they recently just signed Nick Smith Jr. and then also Chris Mignon in the summer. So Christian Coloco could be the odd man out in this situation. But Drew Timme, let's talk more about him, because he is a fascinating player, and I think he's a player that can help the Lakers right away because of his unique skill set. So he's a guy that played all 4 years of college, so he is a bit of an older prospect. He's 25 years old, but that means he's more of a ready now prospect and a guy that you can probably plug and play in certain situations if need be. And the Lakers center rotation has been pretty solid at the start of the season. You have obviously DeAndre Ayton and then Jackson Hayes, but then behind that it kind of gets a little wonky there, because maybe you got some of Maxi Kleber, and then Christian Coloco was also there as well. But there were some points, especially in the summer league and then also the preseason, that Christian Coloco just wasn't playing up to his caliber, not really blocking shots, not really grabbing rebounds, which is what you need out from that center position. And Drew Timme, albeit is not a defensive center, he is definitely more offensive tilted, but he is a very skilled and unique offensive player. Just take a look of just how the reason why he's ended up on the Lakers, just because of the week that he had with the South Bay Lakers, and they went 3-0 in that week, and then he averaged over 30 points per game to go along with 7 rebounds and 4.7 assists, being named G League Player of the Week to start off the G League season. So Drew Timme already making his impact felt, and then with that clearly showing that he was the best player far in between on the G League, the Lakers had to make a move to sign this guy to the team because of how well he was playing down there with the South Bay Lakers. So the Lakers are now going to add another center. Obviously, the two-way contracts, they have a little bit of, it's just more to control that player's future than it is more to sign that player to your specific team, because they can only play 45 regular season games until they have to go back to the G League full time, because that's kind of like the split between the two-way contract. But it kind of keeps that player under your team's control, which is what I think the Lakers wanted. And this unique player with Drew Timme, because he is not your typical type of center. He's not he's not that run and jump center that we've been looking for Luka Doncic, but he is more of a short roll pocket player, which is kind of the skill set that the Lakers centers already have. You have DeAndre Ayton, who loves to hang out in that pocket area, shoot that mid-range jump shot, has a whole bunch of different type of push shots. And then Drew Timme is not too dissimilar, obviously not to the high level that DeAndre Ayton's at, but he is more of, I would say, a Miles Plumlee Mason Plumlee, that's kind of like the similar archetype, but a guy that has a little bit more touch. Plumlee was more of a rebounder and more of a hustling big, but this guy, Drew Timme, is more of an offensively skilled guy. He has a lot of touch around the rim. He can finish with either hand and has a very high basketball IQ, which is really what the Lakers have been looking for in many of the two-way players, is if they have a high basketball IQ. And Drew Timme has exactly that, because he's played in a bunch of high-level offense, obviously in Gonzaga, and then he was the focal point of their offense in college, and then move on to the NBA, where even he found some success early on. So these were some of his stats from last season with the Brooklyn Nets, where he started his NBA career. And only in 9 games, he averaged 12 points per game to go along with 7.2 rebounds per game and 2.2 assists per game. The field goal percentage was solid, 53%, but definitely the 3-point percentage could have been better, only at 25% there. That is something that's going to need to improve if he is going to want to get more playing time on the floor. But that kind of gets me to my next point here, is just how can Timme help the Lakers? And I already talked about it some here, how Drew Timme can, add to the Lakers because of his short roll ability and what he can do in that spots of the floor. And he can just kind of be like that other big that doesn't really have to skew too far away from the system the Lakers are already running with their big man. And obviously, there is going to be a bit of a difference because Ayton can catch lobs a little bit, and then obviously you have Jackson Hayes, who is the high flyer. Timme is more of the guy who is definitely not going to be the high flyer, but he can be a guy that can play, like I said, in that pocket area, that short roll area, especially if you have guys like Austin and Luka Doncic really commanding double teams at the top of the floor. Then you have a guy like Drew Timme, who's a very smart player, can play in those 3-on-2s, those 4-on-3s, of what you need in some of those spots of the floor, and can just be very solid on that side of the ball. Obviously, he's going to need some work on the defensive side, which is where I think he is going to need the most boost to try to find his way into playing time. But he is a very competitive player, saw that from his days in Gonzaga, and he's going to be a guy that gets after it at the very least. And he's also got a high IQ. So at the very least, he can be a guy that can be in the right spots, but albeit not really being the best ability defender. He's not going to be a guy that's going to block shots out of nowhere or just get a ton of steals, but he can be a guy that can be in the right spots and just hold up the system of the Laker defense. He's not super big either. He's about 6'10" from his size, but he is more, like I said, an offensive skilled player. We're going to see more of that, especially with his passing, because he is a solid passer, has a really nice feel for it, kind of. So you can really get a lot of out from him on that side of the ball. But for him to get on the floor and get some playing time with the Lakers, he's going to need to play some defense, and he's going to have to show that he can be in the right spots almost every single time, or be a guy that's going to be just forcing his issue on that side of the ball and kind of making his presence known. If he can't block shots, then maybe he can take charges. So different things of that nature to find his way on the floor. But we shall see, though, because JJ Redick definitely hasn't been playing too much of those two-way guys. Haven't seen too much from them other than Knicks Mix Jr. in that game in Portland. But besides that, the Lakers haven't needed their two-way guys just yet. And with the injuries at a low point right now in the season, in which most of the guys are healthy, the Lakers aren't going to use too much of their two-way guys unless they really have to, which they really don't at this point of the season. But let us know what you think about the signing in the comments down below. Do you think Drew Timme was a very good signing? Do you think the Lakers can get something out of Drew Timme? And do you think he can be a guy that can rise into possibly getting some playing time here for this team and overtaking some guys? Let us know in the comments down below. And just one more thing for us, guys. There is still 66% of you who have recently watched our videos who are not yet subscribed to the channel just yet. And if you guys want more of that Laker news, Laker updates, trade rumors, game recaps, just every and all things LA Lakers, you guys can come right here to Lakers Digest. All right, I have been your host, Okechi Apakama, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.